Two early goals was enough for Arsenal to continue their recent run of form. In fact, Janusz, it's 17 points from the last 21 available to them now. So can we say that they've turned a corner?
Well, I've been saying that I've seen this movie before, but I think, the problem is a little bit, with people like us in the media at times, right? Because we have been so negative about Arsenal for such a long time that we forgot or we neglected the fact that they've been good lately because, they have been unbeaten in 9 games, right, in all competitions. I think they've won 7 in those. Maybe when you look in the Premier League specifically, and you remember the Crystal Palace last second in stoppage time, like I said, drawing that game, maybe didn't play well against Brighton, but in general, they've been kind of good under Mikel Arteta. So I think part of that is that maybe they're flying under the radar. Maybe we've gotten so used to talking about them in that negative way that we forgot that they're pretty good. And they showed it against Aston Villa. And again, they had a brilliant start against Leicester City today.
Okay, so they are pretty good, granted, but do you trust them yet? That's the question.
I'm starting to. You know what? I'll tell you why. Because I know you desperately want to get to Ramsdale because he was tremendous today. But that's what you need. But what you also needed was to have a steady back four with a goalkeeper, and you're starting to see that, right? I mean, Ben White's been good. Gabriel, maybe because of his presence next to him, has been very, very good. You look at Nuno Tavares or Tavares, however you want to say it. I probably said it wrong anyway. Stepping in at left back for Kieran Tierney. I mean, he may not be able to get back into the starting 11. Neither does Xhaka because Sambi's playing very good. Well, Thomas Partey as well as I do, right? Watching him for years in Spain, he's been good for a number of games right now. So I think you're starting to see, that foundation, a little bit of that foundation that we've missed. And even somebody like Lacazette, who was okay today, he wasn't great, but he was good. Remember when he scored that goal? I don't know if you remember. I think you do. Against Brighton late, just before he scored, he was getting the crowd out. We all know that he hasn't been happy, right? Because he hasn't been playing. I think that may have been a little bit of a catalyst. That late goal when they drew against Crystal Palace may have turned the season around for them a little bit. So I don't want to be too dramatic about it, but I look at things like that because I thought it was important.
And something else, and another player that's been just mammoth for them, it's at the other end of the pitch. It's Aaron Ramsdale. In fact, Arsenal are still unbeaten in the Premier League with him in goal. So let's elaborate a little bit on his role and what he's done for them, Janusz.
Well, I think we've sensed it when they've bought him, right? That it wasn't for the bench because Bernd Leno was never the sort of goalkeeper that you trusted, right? But you still needed to see, how he was going to be able to deal with the pressure of Arsenal. Sheffield United, it's one thing, but coming to Arsenal, who haven't been at their best, it's not like he's stepping into a team, like Liverpool, Manchester City, where, things are going to be taken care of in front of you, right? So, of course, he was massive, and he's been able to deal with that pressure, and that's not easy. So he's been good in this game. He's been tremendous. But then again, to me, what I get out of this match today is Ramsdale, but I also think that the second half wasn't good. Leicester City were all over them, and Ramsdale was certainly very important. But it almost seems to me that seeing this game through under tremendous amount of pressure like that in the second half is as important as the 3 points, if you know what I mean. This was in the past, this may have been lost. I mean, let's not forget this Leicester City, what they've done to Manchester United not that long ago, right? And this could have gone that way in the second half, but it didn't. And Ramsdale was a big part of that. But I think the entire team just keeping that clean sheet and winning this game is big. It's bigger than we perhaps think.
And Leicester struggling in the final third, Janusz?
Well, yeah, today they did. Like I said, I mean, again, this was a Leicester team on an uptick, right? I mean, how many they've won now? 4, I think, in the last, I think 4 straight games, or unbeaten 4. And that game against Manchester United comes to mind. They didn't struggle there. They scored 4 goals, and today, that free kick that James Maddison, had stopped by Ramsdale, that goes in. Who knows? I mean, Vardy had a couple of headers very, very close. I don't know if it's a struggle. It's sometimes you're just a little bit unlucky because they certainly had enough chances, and they have the players like Daka, who came in. I mean, remember Daka against Spartak Moscow, 4 goals there. He's just getting his feet wet, I think. And, he still maybe needs a little bit of time. I think they have the players. I wouldn't just say struggling, a little bit unlucky today.
Okay. And lastly, could it be that Brendan Rodgers is distracted by something right now?
Yeah, I knew you were going to lead me into that. Can't get in his head. No, I don't think so. I mean, if anything, it's the players that may be, I mean, he doesn't go out there and play. As I've said, I mean, last few games, Leicester City have been very, very good. We've had no indication, and these rumors didn't come about just last week. His name is always going to be mentioned when you look at some of the big clubs, and he deserved it, right? I mean, he's proven over the years. He's been at some big clubs already, like Liverpool, like Celtic. So I think he's used to it. I don't think that's. In fact, I think that makes you feel good, right? I mean, and you want your team to continue to play well because your name is going to be mentioned by virtue of that. So no, I'm one that doesn't buy into it.
Okay, so another good win for Arsenal, 2-0 against Leicester, and a nod to Bukayo Saka, who at 20 years old made his 100th appearance for the Gunners.
Can you imagine that? I mean, 20 years old, 100 Premier League games. What have I done wrong when I was young?
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.